Here we go with Livy. I don't see any way of reconciling these shorter chapters and the numbers off, so I'm just going to call today's 50 and 51, and that'll catch up the numbers. So anyway, Archinus, increpens, he's been insulting or rebuking or making arguments in with the accusative towards the Roman king, Hake in these way or these words. Anyway, he did this and then he abdicated from the concilio, he left the council. Which matter, Tarquinus, aliquanto, the adverb, a little bit than he seemed, bearing this agrius, this is like a little phrase, ferens agrius, is bearing this whole situation a little bit more worse than it seemed, a little bit. So confessed him, another adverb, straight away. He was machinating a way that he could necem turno, that he could kill Turno, so that the iundum terror, the same terror by which he had oppressorated the at home or in the homeland the animos civians, the minds of his own citizens. He wanted to iniquirate. He wanted to cast this same terror into the Latin people. Et quia, and because pro imperium, because of his power and influence, etc., Parlam openly was not able to be killed. So, having ablative absoluted, oblato terro, ferro tuli latus is the regular. So, having brought a false incrimination against him, the insontem, in the accusative, this innocent man, he oppressed or did away with. And here we have how he did it. Per certain quosdam of the adverse faction, of the different faction who was against the guy, he corrupted him with aurum, with gold, a slave of Turnus. So that in the diversorium of him, the place he was staying at, he allowed him, clam secretly, to be brought in a magnum vim, a great force or amount of gladiorums, that's the short Roman sword. This, cum una nocte, when it was perfected or completed or done in one night, una nocte is the one night, Tarquinius, Paulo ante, a little bit before Lucem, before dawn, asceted to himself, he summoned to himself, ascetis principus, with these leading men of the Latins being summoned to himself, as if he was now perturbed or disturbed by a re nova, by a new matter. His morem, his delay hesternum of yesterday, as if this had been a quadem providentia diorum, as if there had been some certain providence of the gods looking out for him, in latum, he ate. He said this had been a source of safety for himself and for them to have been, as if it was a providence of the gods that he'd turn up late. Ab Turno dici sibi. So it was told to him that by Turnus, from Turnus, that the primoribus of the populations, the leading of the citizens, that Turnus had been prepared to kill them, so that solus alone he would teniat, he would hold imperium Latinorum, he would hold the power over the Latins. Aggressiorum was to have been esterno die, yesterday in the council. He had dilated the matter or postponed it because the auctor of the council, the guy behind the council, the guy who had summoned the council, he was afuera, he was away, whom Maxime greatly he had been seeking to kill. Indi, so then, in his absence, Ilem insectations just means this is where he was railing against him, complaining, making his complaints. We've got Tape that was born was deserted by the morande, by his delay. It's not doubted that if it was deferred to him, if it was told to him was vera, was true, what would stop him then at Prima Luca, that the next day at dawn, when ventum into the concilium, when they'd come into the council, he would come in instructus, drawn up with a handful of his conspirators, amatus, he would come in armed, Venturus said. So, if this information was true, then this coming morning he would turn up armed with a group of men. Dicky, it was said that ingen numerum, a huge number of gladiators. Well, I don't know if they had those short swords. It could just be a code word for any type of swords. A huge number of swords had been convected to him, had been carried to him or taken to him. This, if it was vain or empty, necne or not, extempore, immediately it was possible to know. They could find out quite easily. Okay. Rogare eos, probably a historical infinitive. So he asked them that then, Secum with him, they should go to Turnus, or to his quarters. It made the Ram suspect the matter seemed to be something suspicious. What have we got? Et net corollaries. Both because the ferox, the ferocity of Turnus, Ingenium's nature, and the oration which had happened yesterday, the invectives yesterday, and the delay of Tarquinius, that it seemed, because of this, that the slaughter seemed to have been able to have been deferred, postponed. So, of course, all these things adding up in these accusations. Iunt quidem indeed, with their minds inclined to credendum, to believe this. Looks like they were going to believe this. Nevertheless, nisi, unless with the swords being grabbed or found as evidence, the rest of these accusations would be existimate, they would be thought to be empty. But ubi est, when eo to there they ventumed, when they got there, Turnus from sleep, somno, was excited from death. He was woken up from death, and custode circumstood, and looks like guards stood around. Comprehensive service. So the slave's been grabbed, who out of dearness of their master, or the dear affections of the master, they were preparing for, so they were ready to fight. Cum the gladi abdite, when the swords had been abdite, pulled out from omnibus locus, from all the places of the inn where they were staying, or the room we were staying in, protracted, that means they were drawn out, protracted from these places. And vero, for sure, the res visa manifest, it was seen to be manifest, and looks like chains were injected unto Turnus. So he was chucked in chains. Et confestum, and immediately, council of the Latins, magno cum tumult, with a great tumult, was advocated, was called for. So they called a great council together. There, ibi, in this council, so atrocious an invidia, hatred or envy usually, autorest, arose. Positus the gladus in the medio, in the middle of them, the swords are placed, having been placed there, or with them placed there. Ut indicta causa, as the case was indicted or indicted or something anyway, with a novo genere of death. A new type of death was thought up in this case. Indicta means he wasn't allowed to speak. Anyway, he was dejectus, it was thrown down into the caput aqua ferentia, to the headwaters of the Ferentine water, if you want to Google that. With a crate, this is a it's like a cage made out of wicker or something. Superne is an adverb, so above the crate, he was thrown in a congested pile of saxes of rocks were put it, and he was submerged. So he was thrown into the water. This is the new type of death. He was drowned. I'll just Google a word for you. And superne, adverb, add to a higher level or above, in the upper part or on top. So above that wicker crate bundle, these rocks are piled up. And that's it for the day.